If your dog does even one of these things while you're fast asleep, they're actually telling you something profoundly deep about your relationship. Something that, honestly, most owners never even notice. And just a quick heads up, as we'll see a bit later on, one of these behaviors is actually a critical warning sign that you absolutely shouldn't ignore. Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and discover exactly how the quietest hours of the night, usually right around that 2 to 4 a.m. mark, reveal your dog's truest, most unfiltered feelings about you. Think about it like this. During the day, our dogs are constantly reading the world through their instincts, right? They're reacting to stimuli, and sometimes, let's be real, they're putting on a bit of a performance for us. But nighttime? That is when their guard drops completely. There are no treats coming, no commands being given, and definitely no audience to please. There really is no performance at 3 in the morning. It's just their unfiltered truth. Whatever your dog chooses to do in that absolute stillness, when they shift or resettle or just quietly lift their head in the dark, that is literally the closest thing you will ever get to seeing their authentic mind at work. So, before we jump into our very first specific behavior, I actually want you to take a second and think about this. Where exactly does your dog sleep? Do they sleep in the exact same room as you, or do they retreat somewhere else entirely? Keep your answer in mind because it directly connects to several of the really fascinating behaviors we're about to unpack. It basically sets the stage for everything they do next. Okay, section 1, the truth in the dark and their instinct to protect you. Our first behavior is one that a lot of owners actually completely misunderstand, and that's your dog positioning themselves right near the bedroom door. Now, if your dog chooses a spot over by the door instead of sleeping pressed right up against you in bed, they are absolutely not rejecting your company. It is actually the exact opposite. You see, in a dog's mind, the entrance to a room is the ultimate point of vulnerability for the pack. So a dog that chooses this spot night after night has quietly, without any fanfare, appointed themselves as your personal watchdog. They're working for you. They're protecting you, without ever expecting a reward or even a simple pat on the head in return. Now, consider the behavior of waiting for you to lie down first. Have you ever noticed your dog circle, sit down, get back up, and just kind of hover until you are completely still? Well, in the wild, pack animals simply do not relax if a member of their group is still active, because alertness usually means there's danger nearby. By waiting for your stillness before finally finding theirs, they're essentially syncing their rest to yours. They instinctively view you as the leader who determines whether it's finally safe to switch off for the night. Moving on to section 2, proof of trust. Have you ever heard that incredibly long, dramatic exhale your dog lets out right before they fall asleep? For the longest time, people just assumed this meant the dog was exhausted or maybe a little uncomfortable. But behaviorists have actually found that this heavy sigh, especially when it's paired with really relaxed body language, is literally their nervous system actively switching off. It's them shifting completely out of that on-duty alert mode and into genuine deep rest. If your dog sighs like this right next to you, they're telling you, without using a single word, that your presence makes them feel entirely safe. Have you ever noticed your dog just randomly pop their head up in the middle of the night, lock eyes with you for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, and then go right back to sleep? This is deeply rooted in what researchers actually call secure base attachment. It is structurally super similar to the bond that young children form with a parent. Your dog is unconsciously monitoring you, just making sure their base is still right there, much like a parent unconsciously listening for a baby's breathing through a bedroom wall. And then, of course, we have physical contact. Most dogs have a whole house full of incredibly comfortable spots they could choose from, yet some will consistently choose the 6 inches of space pressed directly against your leg or your back. And hey, this isn't about the temperature or how soft the bed is. Choosing to sleep skin to fur is actually one of the absolute strongest nonverbal indicators of trust in the entire canine world. A dog will not lower their guard to this extreme unless you are mentally filed under 100% safe. And that very moment, you are their anchor. Let's look at section 3, connection through senses. Did you know your dog has actually memorized the specific sound of your breathing? Because dogs experience the world primarily through sound and scent, over the thousands of hours they spend sleeping near you, they literally build an internal sound template of your slow, resting breath. This is exactly why if you ever get sick or even just congested and your breathing rhythm shifts just a tiny bit, your dog will often wake up fully alert before you even consciously realize something is wrong. It is an unconscious study done purely out of deep, deep attachment to you. Another totally fascinating sensory behavior is what we call the independent listening ear. Your dog might be angling their body entirely away from you, which, by the way, some owners take totally personally, thinking the dog just wants space. But watch their ears. Even when they are fully turned away, a dog's ear will frequently rotate completely independently just to stay oriented toward the person they trust the absolute most. They're comfortable enough to face away from the world, sure, but they are not comfortable enough to stop listening for you. They keep that vital sensory channel wide open all night. Now for a very important pivot in Section 4, health warnings. It is absolutely vital that we compare normal sleeping habits against sudden changes. Things like physical twitching, paddling their paws, or even whimpering in their sleep, those are completely normal signs of REM sleep. However, if your dog suddenly starts waking you up by pacing around the room, heavy panting, or just seeming highly distressed, and this was never, ever their pattern before, you really need to pay attention. This isn't them showing affection. This is a clear physical signal. So why does this shift usually happen at night? Well, it's because dogs are absolute experts at masking their pain during the day. Adrenaline and the activity of the house just distract them. But at night, in the total stillness, that mask finally slips. Sudden nighttime pacing can point to joint pain that gets way worse when they lie still, digestive issues, or in older dogs, early cognitive changes. If you see this sudden shift in behavior, it absolutely warrants a conversation with your vet. Catching these underlying issues early is always, for sure, the best approach. Finally, Section 5, the center of the world. We have definitely covered a lot of ground in this explainer, from the protective door guarding and that beautiful heavy sigh of relief, right through to the midnight check-ins and then waiting for your stillness. We looked at how they memorize your breathing, why they initiate physical contact, and how they keep an ear trained on you all night long. The main thing I want you to remember is that absolutely none of this is just a dog acting randomly. Every single one of these behaviors is a conscious, deeply rooted decision shaped by pure instinct and an unwavering trust in you. Which really brings us to the core takeaway of this entire explainer. You are the center of their world. Your dog spends every single night quietly proving this to you, and they do it without an audience, without expecting a reward, and without ever needing you to even notice. The sheer depth of their attachment is honestly staggering when you finally know exactly what you're looking for. So tonight when you turn off the lights, I really want you to pay close attention. You might just see your best friend completely differently by the time morning rolls around. I'd love for you to reflect on this down in the comments. Which of these behaviors does your dog exhibit the most? Really pay attention tonight, because once you finally understand their midnight language, you have to ask yourself, what else are they telling you when you aren't looking? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep observing those brilliant canine minds.